welcome to another exciting episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Becker, out of Alexandria, Virginia. On today's episode, we have the CEO and founder of the Flip Genius, Brandon Rickman. Good to see you again, man.
Hey, Andrew, how are you? Good to see you too.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw each other, I was on your podcast like a few weeks back. Is that right?
And then in person in Nashville, I guess we were together.
Yeah. So many more of those to come, my friend. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be with us today.
Of course. I'm excited to talk to you and share with your listeners.
Yeah, dude, let's jump right in here. So those of you out there that might not know who Brandon is, please give us a, very short, here's who I am, what you do in real estate, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah, so I live just outside of Atlanta. Have been flipping houses for over 20 years in Atlanta. Have done some new construction as well, but flipped over 500 houses in the Atlanta market, just over $25 million in revenue. And then we teach other people how to flip houses as well. So after doing 500 projects and seeing just about everything you can see, we started helping other people several years ago learn how to flip houses themselves.
Very cool. So you're saying, Brandon, you have a little bit of experience in that regard.
I've seen a thing or two.
Yes, sounds like it, man. So I have a question though, because a lot of people that I have on the show, they started out in like retail as agents or wholesaling. Did you just get right into flipping homes? That was your first endeavor into the real estate industry?
It was. I tend to do things backwards. So we're actually developing our first self-storage facility right now. And we started with a ground up development. I've never done another self-storage facility before in my life. It was the hardest thing I could find, and I'm going to go backwards. So same thing with single family. My first couple projects I did were flips. I didn't even know about wholesaling or what that was until I was in the business for probably 10 years.
Okay. And did you ever get into wholesaling or any other exit strategy, or just did you stick with flipping only?
Yeah, we did eventually get into wholesaling. Once we first started out, we were doing just a couple houses on the side while we had full-time jobs, and just got tired of, 9 to 5 grind, somebody telling us what time we had to be there, how many weeks of vacation we could have. Yeah. So we just kind of started flipping on the side. But after we'd been in it for a couple of years and seen some good revenue, we actually hired a coach and joined a mastermind, and that kind of opened our eyes. So in 2020, 21, 22, in that time frame, we were selling a lot of wholesale properties to hedge funds. So that's when we really grew and did a lot more wholesaling then than flipping.
Very cool. And do you still do both right now? So you've, let's just be kind of like cut it down the line. You have an operation where you flip wholesale. What's that called?
Simply Sold Atlanta.
Okay. So that's your operations where you learned everything. And then you have the Flip Genius, which is what?
Which is our education and coaching business, where we coach and mentor other people, usually people who have never done a deal or have just done a few deals, and they're looking to learn about all the different ways of finding off-market property.
All right, cool. So that's awesome. So you're a true operator. Are you still doing operations and flipping, or are you just doing the Flip Genius nowadays?
No, we still have a full-time business doing the flipping, wholesaling, buy and hold. So we're still doing all of that. And then because we had done it so much, I had a lot of people coming to us asking us how we do this and what CRM we use and all that. We eventually started coaching and helping other people.
Cool. So Brandon, one of the things, the major discussion in all the groups out there and all the, the happenings is like, where are we finding these leads? You just said you did like 500-600 flips in your lifetime, in your career, and you also do wholesaling. Let's start off there. So that's a very significant number for anyone, right? Doing flips, especially flips. That's actually incredibly impressive because a flip is very time consuming and capital intensive. But where are you guys today finding deals and finding leads?
Yeah, so obviously over that time, we've done a little bit of everything. And again, when we first started, it was door knocking. So the first house we ever bought was in our neighborhood that we lived in. The house was dilapidated. We walked up and knocked on the door. But as we grew over time and learned from other people who had been down that road, we added in direct mails. Direct mail has been our number one source of leads for the last 15 years. And some months are better than others. It kind of goes in waves, but it's definitely been our number one source. We've also done cold calling, texting, PPC, PPL, and it's science. So we've done all of it. And that's really kind of our niche in the education business, is teaching people how to find off-market properties.
Through direct mail only, or through a plethora of different options that they want to do?
Yeah, we cover all the different methods for finding off-market properties. I mean, anybody can go find an agent and buy off MLS. So we target off market, trying to get direct to seller. And that was really the biggest question we had from all the people that we would talk to when we were starting to coach other people was, how do you find the property?
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of focused on that niche. And that's what we teach now, all the different aspects, all the different marketing channels.
Very cool. One of the things that I like doing on this show is giving like a tactical action item for someone. Let's focus on just direct mail since that's a big part of your company. What kind of strategies do you deploy and do you teach on with like a direct mail campaign? Because that could be a ton of different things, but you want to do it strategically. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, that could be a very long conversation, and I have a lot of videos on it as well. But I would say the most important thing with direct mail is consistency. It's like any other type of marketing channel is you want to be in front of that potential seller when they're ready to sell. So in our industry, we say, no doesn't mean no. It just means not right now. So when we're buying data, as an example, let's just say we're buying data for a tax delinquent list, people who are behind on their taxes. We send them direct mail today and they get a postcard in the mail and they go, oh, I'm not interested, and they throw it away. Well, 3 months from now, when they're facing foreclosure, they're going to be ready to sell. It's being consistent. And I always tell people, if you have, let's say you're going to spend $5,000 on direct mail, rather than dropping $5,000 of direct mail today, I would tell you to divide it up over a period of time, every 2 weeks for the next couple months, or, once a month for the next 3 months, and hit that same data multiple times, hit that same property multiple times. Because again, you want to be the person in front of them when they're ready to sell. And so it's more important to be consistent than it is to dump a ton of direct mail at one time.
Yeah. I've heard from mail houses and, industry professionals alike that when you're doing a direct mail campaign, obviously you just don't mail it once and say, hey, this doesn't work or this does work. Consistency you just brought up, but the 6, or maybe like, I shouldn't say this, the 6 or 7 touches before they even like recognize you're mailing them. But what does consistently mean to you guys in your company?
Yeah, I mean, from a perspective of how regular or how long it takes to get a deal under contract, it's a national average is 4 to 6 months from first contact. So I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, or if you're asking how many times we send out direct mail to the same data.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying I teach sometimes send at least 7 minimum before you can say, hey, this is working or not. Are you getting a tax delinquent mail list that has 10,000 people on it? You're saying, hey, I'm going to send this postcard until they call me and say, stop doing it, or you buy the property, and are you putting them on your direct mail campaign forever? That was my question. Or are you saying this one list is going to get hit 10 times over the course of 10 months and then that's it, and then we might come back to it later?
Yeah, it's more of a strategy. I would say the simplest terms is we'll put them on the list and mail to them forever until they tell us, take me off your list. But our strategy, when we buy our data, we're stacking motivating factors on there. So as an example, we talked about tax delinquent, out-of-state owners. So someone who lives out of state, but they own a property in Georgia, vacant. The property's vacant right now. They have liens because they haven't cut the grass or taken care of the yard. They've recently gone through a divorce. So all these are, and there's a lot of other motivating factors, but all these are motivating factors why someone might want to sell their property in a hurry at a discount. And so what we do when we buy our data is any data that we have that has 7 or more motivating factors, we're going to hit them every other week. And we're going to switch up we're going to use a postcard the first time, then we're going to use a letter, trifold letter and an envelope the second time. And then we're going to go back to a postcard, and then we're going to do a different letter. But we're going to hit those 7 or more frequently than, as an example, people on our list who have 2 or less motivating factors, because they're more likely to sell.
Yeah, Brandon, I believe the concept you're currently describing is called list stacking.
Mm-hmm.
And just in case anyone listening does not know what that means, it means what Brandon was just saying. Someone might be on a tax delinquency list and a pre-foreclosure list. So that's 2. And then there's all different variations or types of, categories out there. And the more that they end up on, the higher the sense of urgency and the more most likely that they would need to sell.
Correct. Yep. And we do, from time to time, we'll buy data that doesn't have those motivating factors, just because we operate in Metro Atlanta. We don't do virtual. We're all in-person appointments. So Metro Atlanta is a big area, but obviously after mailing for 20 years, you've covered a lot of the data, and we continue to hit those people again and again, like I said. But sometimes we'll just buy like a high equity list. So people who have more than 30% equity in their house, or people who have lived in their house for more than 20 years, and we'll target them. But most of the time, we're trying to get as niche as possible, trying to get as focused, as many motivating factors as we can, and hit those people again and again and again.
Okay. And just to clarify, you're purchasing these lists by tax, by category of that. And then what are you using? How are you figuring out, Brandon, if I show up on multiple or none, or someone else is showing up on 3? Like, are you using tools to do that? Or are you manually doing it? How are you keeping track of all that?
Yeah, we manually do it. I mean, we'll buy our data provider that we use. One of the data providers that we use, they actually send it to us already stacked. So when we get it, it'll be scored. Like the first, let's say the first one on top of the list, it'll be scored a 10. And when you look out to the side, it'll have the 8 motivating factors listed out. So when they pull the data, they send it over to us already done. But then again, over the years of buying so much data from month to month, we have millions of names and properties on the list. So we'll actually go in and manually, or have one of our virtual assistants go in and manually do it as well.
So we kind of briefly talked about like marketing, getting deals in the door, but let's kind of shift the conversation out to the Flip Genius. I'm really interested in this. You mentioned before, I'd like you to just repeat so we can get on the same page here, that it's for like newbies, someone that's like, oh, I want to flip houses, but I'm not really quite sure where to start. Like, who's the program for? And then I'd love to ask you some questions about like what's involved in it, and kind of hear from you how you help these people. But let's start there. Who's the Flip Genius program for?
We're targeting mostly newbies, people who want to be investors, who have a full-time job. They're working 9 to 5, mostly in a service business. We like that because, they're on someone else's schedule, right? Whoever the client is, they're on their schedule. They are having to work from 9 to 5, whether it's working for someone else or even working for themselves, but they're on a fixed schedule, 9 to 5, and they desire time freedom and financial freedom. And so that's who we target. It's really based on where we came from, because that was our driver when we started 23 years ago.
Yeah.
Was we wanted more money, we wanted more time freedom. And so that's kind of who we target now.
Okay. So you do not, just to clarify again, for anyone listening that might not be in the real estate industry yet, that's a perfect person that you can help. So they don't necessarily need to have worked in real estate. Is that correct?
No, not at all. I mean, we teach from the start, how to set up an LLC, and do you need to do that initially? So we kind of take it from the very beginning, but I would say we don't focus on experienced flippers. So there are other coaching programs out there, other mentors who focus on, hey, you do 10 deals a year, we'll help you get to 50. That's not our program. We're more of, again, like we started out, the people who have a desire to do something more. They want to figure out their time freedom. They want to spend more time with their family and friends. They want to travel more. They want to make more money than working for someone else. That's kind of who we're focused on.
Okay. So the 0 to 1.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe they've done a couple deals, 1 or 2 deals, but they don't have any systems in place. I think back, I was talking to someone else the other day on a podcast, and I was thinking back to when we first started, and I didn't even know what a CRM is, right? I have no idea what a CRM is.
Right.
Now, I could probably name 40 of them that I would recommend to people. Just when you don't know, you don't know. And so finding someone who does know and who has been there and have that experience can shortcut your learning so much.
Very cool. So I am your newest student of the Flip Genius. What does the timeline look like from like onboarding? Can you walk us through like the first 90 days? Like, I'm sure you have some sort of a time frame in mind of getting someone through it. And then what's the outcome that I would get? Can you walk like a high level overview of, in case anyone's interested in reaching out after this?
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as somebody signs up with us, we schedule an onboarding call, which I personally do myself. I want to find out what their experience is, what their knowledge is, and what their goals are. Are they are they already working full time? This is going to be a part-time deal until they build it up. Are they looking to scale something they can go full time in? So really just trying to get a feel for where they are and what their experience is. And then after that, we have a whole video vault that's got probably 100 hours, close to 100 hours of videos that we've shot over the years on every aspect of how to do all the marketing. We have a specific video for direct mail, one for pay-per-click, one for cold calling. And one of the things that I really focus on is, rather than telling only, I show. So my camera is focused on my computer. And when I'm telling you about how to buy data, I'm saying, go to this website, click this button right here, click this button, select this. So I really try to show people, because that's, again, the way I learn, not by hearing, but by seeing and doing. And so I show people exactly how to do everything in those videos. And so you can watch those videos at your leisure. There's also about 20 downloadable contracts in there. So everything from the purchase and sale agreement that we use, or buying property or selling property. We have a deal calculator that we use that has different tabs for wholesale, fix and flip, or rentals. And so you just go in and plug the numbers in, and it'll tell you how much you should pay or what your rehab is going to be. So we have a deal calculator. We have a construction cost calculator. So over all of those flips, we figure out, especially in our Atlanta market, how much does it cost to put on a new roof? How much does it cost to put a window in? And so we have our construction budget in there so that you can go in and say, okay, I've got 5 windows, just plug in 5 and it'll tell you what the cost is, and it'll total that up. So all those, there's call scripts in there so you know what to say to a seller. There's text follow-up campaign so that you can put people on an auto text follow-up. So anyway, all of that is in our video vault, and then those downloadable things that you can download and use, edit them as you need to and use them as you want to. And in addition to that, we do a weekly call. So every week we jump on a Zoom. I will do a portion of teaching based on that week. So we'll start out with the basics, and then we kind of go deeper into the business. And then at the end of each call, we have time for Q&A in case people have specific questions they want to ask about a deal or something like that. So that's kind of our program in a nutshell.
Yeah, man, very cool. So it's basically a flipping business in a box. So you don't have to, or I don't have to go through and say, hey, I want to figure this out. I want to get into flipping. They can go to your website, sign up, and expedite their learning curve into flipping, whether that's 1 a year or 10 a year, however they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. We do, we do a portion on raising money. So again, when I started out, it was like, we got to save 20%. We got to go to the bank, borrow money from the bank because that's the only option. Well, obviously, as you know, once you're in the industry, there's a lot of other options of how to finance your property. So private lenders or hard money lenders, what does that mean, and who are they? And so we give all of that information to our clients, to our students. We share our private lenders, we share our hard money lenders, we introduce them to hard money lenders to help them find money they need to do their flips. And we'll even partner with people if they're in the Atlanta area and they want to work shoulder to shoulder with us. They bring us a property they have under contract. If it makes sense, the numbers make sense based on what we have taught them, then we will actually bring the capital. We'll do the work with our contractors. We'll flip the house, sell it, split the profits with them 50-50. And that way they get to watch the project go along shoulder to shoulder on my dollar, my risk, and they're learning kind of with me as we do it.
Very cool. And is this just for people in Atlanta, or is this a program that anyone in the United States could sign up for?
Yeah, anyone in the United States. So everything that I mentioned before is included. So you can do that anywhere in the country. But the partner program right now, we're only doing, we only flip in Atlanta and Sarasota, Florida. And we just started in Sarasota. So the partner program, we only offer in Atlanta because that's where our teams are and where our contractors are. But we do, I also own a private lending company as well. So we do loans all over the country. And then obviously the real estate education can work anywhere in the country.
Awesome, man. This has been phenomenal, Brandon. Like, such awesome approach to how you run and operate your business and the education that you provide. Anyone listening that wants to get into flipping or at least chat with you about what that could look like, how would somebody get in contact with you?
Yeah, so our website is theflipgenius.com. So theflipgenius.com. And there's a button on there you can schedule a call with me. So that'll take you right to my calendar. You can schedule a call directly with me. Also on all social media, so Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, The Flip Genius, or Brandon Rickman at The Flip Genius. And my personal cell phone number and my email address are on my Facebook page and all my social media. So people have my cell phone number. They can reach out to me directly.
Very cool. And for those listening that want to get an expedited connection with Brandon, the contact information will be in the description of this episode. So just look down and go click on the link and reach out to Brandon. Dude, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we got to connect again. I know we're talking about doing all these other cool things together, so I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'm going to be down in Orlando. Are you going to Orlando? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there in April.
Yeah, man. So we'll connect in person as well. Thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I look forward to seeing you then.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.